Good morning, everybody. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today, we're going to be talking about strategies for ultra low interest rates. I mean, how can you get, even today, an interest rate of 2% or even better? Oh man. Listen, it's not just clickbait. We got something for you today. All right. So here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to jump right into this thing by showing you some examples. And I got one on the screen ready to go. I need you to take a look at this thing because it is I actually got this example from some friends of mine over on Clubhouse from Business Over Breakfast. And I heard a man in there one day talking about how he can make money on a deal where he had an 18% interest rate, 18% interest rate. And if you're taking notes, okay, I see you guys coming in. Go ahead and put your comments in there and say good morning. Listen, he had 18% interest rate. And I need you to write these two things down for us to get started today. Your interest rates, come on now, listen to this. Your interest rates need to stop being about your payment. We're focused too much on the payment when we're talking about how to get, good morning, Bobby. We're talking about how to get interest rates. Listen, we kill ourselves trying to get the lowest interest rates available. And you don't have to. I'm going to show you a different way to do it. We need to stop worrying about interest rates in regards to our payment. We need to start being, it needs to start being about the true cost of the property. The true cost of the property. What do I mean by true cost? Listen, let's zero in on this thing. Okay, I see what we have here is a $200,000 mortgage at 18%. Okay, now the property may be worth $200,000. But if the interest rate that the bank wants for 30 years, they want $884,974 in interest on that thing over 30 years. That's what they want. That's not what they're going to get. So the true cost of that property, if left to the bank, would be $1,084,974. Now, how many of you want to pay $1,084,000 for a $200,000 property? You see, we're so focused on the payment. We're focused on the payment. We're focused on the cash flow. This is a multifamily, okay, and is making about $6,000 a month. $6,000 a month. Okay. Now here's what I need to show you. If the property is making $6,000 a month, this guy was totally focused on the payment, on the mortgage. The mortgage payment is only $3,014.18. Now, this is a multifamily property. Okay, so if they're bringing in $6,000 in rents, bringing in $6,000 in rent, he really wasn't worried about the $3,000 in mortgage payments. Okay, listen, folks, that's pretty good money. All right, that's almost $3,000 a month cash flow. No wonder he wasn't worried about the payment. Listen, when he got that interest rate and he says, but I can make the payment. When you're getting your interest rates on your mortgage right now, they're coming down. They hit a high of 7.5%. Some places were 8%. Now they're getting down to about 6.5%. But I'm telling you, you can you can um, um, get a much lower interest rate if we do the math. And that's called an effective interest rate. Now, what's an effective interest rate? Well, when you take a look at the interest rate the bank is wanting to charge is 18%. So if they charge 18%, they want $800,000 over the life of the loan. So that's another thing we're going to go over is that when you're quoted on these things, they talk about the entire amount of interest over the entire life of the loan as if you had no choice. You know, I heard them on CNBC the other day talking about the interest rates. And then, you know, when they talk about when the interest rates go up, they're going to say that the average homeowner is going to pay X amount of dollars more. You've heard them say that, right? If they have this interest rate, it's going to cost them $1,000 or $1,200 more to do this. And then they give you the whole, then they'll say, oh, it's going to cost like 70 or 80 or $100,000 more total. Well, listen, folks, that's if you do it the bank's way. But who said you have to do it their way? Let's focus on how much interest we have to pay if we make our own arrangements. You see, when the bank gives you an arrangement, you know, to make that monthly payment, that's their schedule. Do you realize you don't have to follow their schedule? You do not. Okay, Bobby. He says, thanks for my savings report yesterday. Listen, man. Listen, we're going to talk about that, Bobby. Listen, I need you to stay in here. All right. And talk about that. And in fact, why don't you can also come up to the stage. The link is posted at the top, but watch this. Okay. So I'm going to get into what the bank wants, but what this client can do. All right. So Bobby understands this because he got a savings report that looks just like this one. Okay. Now here's what we're looking at. $200,000 at 18%. They want $884,000 in interest. But by the time we get through with it with the P.I.L.L method, P.I.L.L stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. And we have a cloud-based, AI-powered computing system that does all of the math and guides you to save the maximum amount of interest that's mathematically possible for you. Just like that. So here's the thing. Before this guy even made his first payment, we could show him that you're only going to pay $253,000 in interest. $253,000 in interest. That's a $631,000 savings, and you could pay that house off in 10.8 years if you wanted to. Okay. Now, I need you to take a look at this. If he's only going to pay $253,734 in interest instead of the $800,000 that the bank wanted him to pay, then we can do some math and figure out, well, what would the interest rate have to be from the bank for him to pay $253,000 instead of $884,000? It would have to be, and I need you to focus in on this. Let me make this a little bigger so you can see it. Okay, we're gonna swoop in on this. You would need an interest rate of 6.47% to pay this little amount of interest on a new 30-year loan. So it is possible to take an 18% interest rate and make it perform as if it were 6.47 in this case. Now, I showed you. Now, this is an extreme case. 18% may be extreme to you. All right. But I love an 18%. If I was in this thing, I would show you how you could actually save even more money. Now, this guy could save even more money if he wanted to. All right. Watch this. I'm going to go ahead and put this in an amortization schedule. And I'm going to show you the basics of what's happening with an 18%. And then I'm going to show you some other examples of how we can get it down to about 2%. Would you like to see that? If you'd like to see how we can get everyday mortgages to 2% or less, put a number 9 in the chat. Okay, put your questions in. I'm looking forward to talking with you today. All right, so here's the $200,000. Oh, I hit the wrong button here. 200,000. All right, 200,000. Boom. All right, at 18%. Now, remember, you need to understand how an amortization schedule works for you to be able to understand what I'm getting ready to tell you. Okay? Now, when we calculate this, all right, there we go. Here's the payment, $3,014.17, just like I told you. Here is what the bank wants in interest, $885,101.20. That's what they want. Okay. And what we're using here is a training website. It's Brett Whistle. Brett Whistle developed this. Listen, this is not part of our program. This is a teaching tool that I use, Brett Whistle. So what I'm going to do is, if you want to play around with something like this, you need to understand this from the bottom up. Too many of us who use loans, mortgages, credit cards, student loans, auto loans, and mortgages for our own property and for our rental properties. We've never been taught how an amortization schedule actually works and how we can make it work for us. So for us to be able to understand the 2% rate that I'm getting ready to show you, I need to show you this on this 18% rate, because it looks crazy at first, but I'm going to show you how you can even love an 18% mortgage rate. All right, so watch this. The total interest paid as a percentage of principal is 442. What? 442%? That 18%, somehow the bank turns that into 442.5%. You see, interest rate has always been a liar. And you can manipulate this thing so that it works out for you instead of being manipulated. Okay, so let's scroll down. Let me get rid of this ad here. Okay, so now I need you to see something that's remarkable. When this guy, remember, he's making $6,000 a month from the rent and paying $3,014.17 a month for the mortgage. So he was more focused on the cash flow and the payment instead of reducing his cost on borrowing the money. Okay? Watch this. The principal amount, the amount that pays down the loan, is only $14.17. Look how much goes to interest. $3,000. And it doesn't get much better the next month. The next month, $14.38 goes to principal. $2,999.97 goes to interest. So remember this. Control the interest rate and you control the loan. I'm sorry. Take that back. Control the principal payment and you control the loan. Interest payments you skip don't matter. That's two things. Control the principal payment and you control the loan. And interest payments you skip don't matter. Let's break this thing down I'm going to give you some very basics on what's called prepayment of principal, because that's what the P stands for. The P stands for prepayment of principal. Then the I stands for isolating the principal amount. The L stands for leverage, and the second L stands for liquidity. I'm going to teach you today what prepayment is all about, because that's what you need to understand to control your effective interest rate. Okay? So let's just say he made this payment, first payment in January. If he made this first payment in January, his next payment would be in February. And we can see here that the February principal payment is $14.38. Now, here's what I need to ask you. If I make this payment in January, do I have to wait till February to give the bank that $14.38 that they're looking for? Do I have to wait till February to do that? Okay. Put your comments here. Put it in the comments. Do I have to wait for February to give the bank that $14.38? Yes or no? I got several people in here watching this. How to get we're going to be talking about how to get a 2% interest rate here. Okay. But you need to understand this. All right. Right. Raynita Perry says, no, you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. Bobby says, no, you don't have to wait. Okay. So if we gave that to the bank early, okay, remember, we had a $200,000 mortgage and we subtracted $14.17 from what we owe because of the amortization schedule. So we're paid down to $199,985.83 right here. Okay. But if we give the bank in January another $14.38 that they were looking for in February, do you realize no interest comes out of this money? All $14.38 goes to principal right there. And you're paid down to $199,971.45. So you're paid down to there. So your next mortgage payment for February is actually on line 3 of the schedule. I need you to zero in on what just happened. It cost us to get rid of line 1 on our amortization schedule. It cost us $3,000 in interest, a full payment of $3,014.17. That's what it costs to get rid of line 1. Do you know what it costs to get rid of line 2? $14.38. Paid early. $14.38 paid early allowed us to skip down to line 3 on the amortization schedule. And what happened to the $2,999.97 that the bank thought they were going to get? Oh, yeah, it got canceled. It got eliminated. That's money they're not going to receive. In fact, all of this is potential equity over here on the principal side. When you see this on the principal side, this is potential equity. When your tenants, if this was your property, when your tenants give you pay you the rent money, out of that rent money, $14 is going to create equity for you each and every month. $14, $15, $16. That's it. The rest goes to the banks, the investors that lend you the money so that you can pay them all of that interest. But that is following their program when you don't have to follow their program. Now, does this make sense, everybody? Listen, if you want to put a question, if there's something you don't understand, make sure you tell me in the comment section you don't understand, or you can actually come to the stage and we can talk about it. Okay? Listen. All right. So listen, I need to know that you're following me here, because what we're getting ready to go over is very, very important. I need you to see the numbers, and I need you to believe your eyes. I need you to believe your eyes, what I'm getting ready to show you here. What if we made the January payment in January, and we gave the bank the next 3 principal payments? One, gave them $14.38, also gave them the $14.60, and also the $14.82. Listen, I've been doing this for 18 years. And when I look at this thing, and when I do this, It's amazing to me. And listen, that's about $45, okay? About 45 bucks extra. I paid my mortgage payment and I gave them about 45 bucks extra on this loan. If I give them 45 bucks extra, it saves me nearly $9,000 in interest. Nearly $9,000. $45 paid early saves me all three of these interest payments. Isn't that crazy? No wonder the people who own the bank do not teach their employees this. So please don't call up your bank today. Don't call up your mortgage company today and ask them to tell you if this is true. What you need to do, if you're going to call them, have them watch this show. In fact, everybody who's in here right now, would you go ahead and please click on join, subscribe. Okay, go ahead and subscribe. Like this video. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. All right, and make comments. People need to see this. So if you're going to call anybody, if you're going to call your accountant, if you're going to call your brother-in-law who's an expert in finance and ask him if this is true, if you're going to call somebody, call your bank, call your credit union, don't call them and ask them if it's true. Call them and ask them to watch this video. Do that. Do that part. Because I'm telling you, your real estate agent, your loan officer that gave you your mortgage, your accountant, your CPA that's getting ready to do your taxes, your financial planner that's helping you to get ready for your future retirement, none of them have been taught how to read and manipulate an amortization schedule. Zero. So please don't call them to ask them if it's true. Call them to watch the video so that they can be educated as well. Get the information we should have gotten in high school, because this ain't hard to understand this. So here's what this is the very exciting part. This is the very exciting part. I need you to see something here. This real estate investor, out of the $3,000 cash flow, I mean, he's so focused on the cash flow, he's not looking at all the interest he's paying, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But I need you to see cumulative principal here and cumulative interest. This is how much interest you pay in 1 year added up. This is how much principal you pay down on your loan. If we go to line 12, that's 12 months worth of payments. While this real estate investor is counting his money, his $3,000 a month coming in, here's how he's paying back the bank. Only $184.79 of the monies that his tenants gave him went to pay down the loan. $35,985.25 went to the bank, even though the real estate investor was focused on the payment. He was not focused on the true cost of buying this building. And we need to stop that. Okay? Here's the next thing you need to write down. Stop trying to get the best interest rate. Create your own interest rate. Create your own. Because if you do that, you are now complete control. Right now, the bank is controlling this thing because they have us focused on the payment. We need to be focused on the true interest cost and do something about it. Okay, watch this part. So we've got $184.79 going to the bank in 1 year, and $35,000 I'm sorry. This is our equity. We're paying down the loan, $184.79 in 1 year. And the bank gets $35,985.25. Do you realize that this real estate investor, out of the monies that he's getting every month, he could take $184.79, pay it on line one, and be paid down to here in just 1 month instead of 1 year. Oh, come on now. Listen, I only got one. Listen, if I don't get some thumbs up on that one, come on now. You guys, I got several people in here. I got to get some likes on that. Maybe I need to go over this again. Let me do this. I'm going to put remember, we started out at $200,000, and we're going to pay the $184.79 all in 1 month, not over a 12-month period where we're giving the bank $14, $15, and $16. And every single month, look at all this interest we're going to give them just to give them this money. Okay. Now I didn't have to worry about it because the tenant gave him the money. And that's what we've been told. The tenants are paying your mortgage. No, they're not. You're paying your mortgage. If you are a real estate investor, you are paying your mortgage. The tenants have a contract with you to pay you rent. You take that rent money, and every single dime of that rent money is your money as soon as you receive it. Now, I want to ask you, how much of it do you want to keep? How much of that rent money, if you are a real estate investor, how much do you want to keep? If you are a residential homeowner, you're paying this interest cost out of the monies that your employer or your business has paid you, and you're giving it away to the bank, and you don't have to. You can manipulate that interest rate and get it down to 2% or less. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you this, and then we're going to get back to the other examples. Okay, all right, put the calculator on the screen. $200,000. We're going to subtract $184.79 all at one time, not over 12 months. Subtract $184.79 equals $199,815.21. That's exactly what's here on line 12, right there. Now, do you want to pay it all at one time or over 12 months? If you do that, give this to the bank all at once after you make your mortgage payment. So you got to make that mortgage payment first and then give them the $184.79. Boom, it goes on principal. You're paid down to here in just 1 month. You skip all the interest between line 2 and line 12. And this is the amazing part. Instead of costing you $35,985.25 to pay it down here in 1 year, if you do give them this money in 1 month, it only costs $3,000 to pay it down to here. And your next mortgage payment for February is on line 13. If that's the case, what's to keep them from understanding this amortization schedule and cutting out a ton of interest by understanding if you prepay, you can calculate how much interest you're saving and then recalculate how much your interest rate would have to be to save a ton of interest. I need you to look at this. I'm going to go down. This is the first year. This is year 2. This is year 3. Year 3. And I listen, I only do, is that what I'm seeing here? I only have 1 thumbs up. I only have 1 like. Is my mic working? Is my mic working today? Come on now. Listen, watch this. In 3 years, this loan is paid down by $669.89. And for 3 years, this real estate investor would have been getting $3,000 a month, 12 times a year, okay, for 3 years. Okay. Do you think out of that money that the real estate investor is getting, he could come up with $669.89 and pay it all at once on line one and knock off 3 years worth of payments and save $107,000 in interest? Is this beginning to make sense to you now? Do you see why? Do you see? Bobby says, yes, it makes sense. Bobby says it makes sense. Bobby says, I would sign up for those savings. Come on, Bobby. All right. And S. Ray says, good morning. Good morning, S. Ray. All right. Watching us on YouTube. All right. I listen. That's right. That's right. Renita says, absolutely. Watching us on Facebook. You need to share this with everybody. Okay. You need to share this with. This is why this is not taught at any level of financial education anywhere. And we have proven that with Chat GPT. We've asked, listen, I did a whole thing on this, and then we asked Chat GPT a bunch of questions about educating people on how this amortization schedule works. There's nothing in any curriculum that teaches what I just taught you anywhere, not even in the Wharton School of Business. You've got to be wondering why that is. Okay. We have a lot of people telling us all you have to do is pay extra, but we have no idea what we're actually doing when we pay extra, because no bank anywhere has ever told you, thank you very much for your $669.89 extra payment. Thank you for that extra payment. You just saved $107,840 in interest you never have to pay. They will never, ever tell you that. This is why they don't train their employees to understand this, so they don't let out the secret to you. How in the world has this been allowed since 1936, when we got the first self-amortizing 20-year loan? The 30-year loan didn't show up until 1948. And in all that time, no education has been given to the general public on this. Only the investors understand it and the bank owners understand it, but none of their employees. Oh, man. Bobby says, thank you, Bobby. Look at Bobby. Bobby out there sharing it already, sharing the P.I.L.L method with a few friends. Thank you, Bobby. We appreciate you. All right. So for 660, do you see? Do you see how it is possible now to figure out ahead of time how much interest you could actually save and then rework the numbers to get a better interest rate, an effective interest rate? Does this make sense to you? If we gave this bank $669.89 early, we'd knock 3 years off the loan, save $107,000 in interest, and our next mortgage payment for February would be on line 37. Look at that. Yeah, it is that simple. And I need you to believe your eyes. Okay? So here we go. Let's go back to our original thing here. I need to go back to this. Let's make it a little smaller. All right? We're going to get out of this. I have this one here. Okay? Look at this one. Okay? I need you to see this. All right? Bobby, what do you got for me? Okay? Bobby says, my mortgage company. What? He says he got my mortgage company has an estimate calculator if you make extra payments, but you would have to make $1,500 extra payment just to pay off 9 years. That looks like an extreme payment to make. And you don't have to. It's not about paying every single month. It's not about that at all. In fact, can I show you what this person did? Watch this, Bobby. I'm going to bring it back. This is crazy. Watch this. Out of the six, now we guarantee all of these numbers. Bobby, you have one of these, okay? $6,000 coming in, and I'm glad you bring this up because most people think you need more money to get out of debt. What you need is to pay less interest, okay? And here we go. We've got monthly payments of $3,000 going in, okay? So out of that money of $6,000, $3,014 makes the mortgage payment. You see this $2,500? He uses that money to invest and to pay other expenses. $2,500 a month. He takes that money out, puts money away for investing and, to pay other expenses. This is what's left over, $485.82. This goes into that's 8% of what he's bringing in. This goes into a reserve fund so it could do repairs and maintenance. $485.82. After that builds up for a while, we take some of this money that's left over out of $485.82. Every few months or so, he takes some money out of that reserve fund, and our program is going to tell him to place that money on the mortgage and kill a ton of interest. Look at this. So most months, he's just going to make the minimum payment. And after we build up some cash, we're going to be able to place lump sums on the debt out of that reserve fund. This is the money we're using to kill this loan in 10.8 years and save $631,000 in interest and give them an effective interest rate of 6.47%. Oh, have mercy. That's what we're talking about. And so it's not, we don't want to put ourselves in a box where we are trying to say, I'm going to do $1,500 every month. No, nobody can do that. What we're doing is whatever monies are left over for like the residential properties, whatever money is left over after paying all your bills, our program says, put that in your savings account. Hey, because we're going to track all your income and all of your expenses. Okay. Shalila Dowdy says, very informative. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. Come on now. I appreciate that. So here's what you're doing. You're taking you're tracking your expenditures. When you start to track your expenditures, you can make things happen. So what we're doing is all the income and we track the expenditures. We're not telling you you can't go out and have fun. We're not telling you how to spend your money. We're just tracking how you spend your money because you're going to manage your finances from now on if you use the P.I.L.L method opportunity cost calculator, our AI-powered cloud-based computing system that does all of this math. So when you put everything into the program, then we're putting all of your expenses in, including your lifestyle expenses. What's a lifestyle expense? You tell the program how much you want to spend on your family. Boom. That's what you're doing. Okay. You tell them that. All right. Listen, I want you to know, I have a dear cousin. Says, that's a Delta. All right. When she's getting ready to cross over, she says, a cousin. I need some funds. Can you help me out so I can cross over? Come on. All right. So watch this. Watch this. Okay. Now, if we focus on putting in how much we want to spend on our families, okay? You tell the program how much you want to spend on your family, and then pay the rest of the bills. What would that be? All right. You got to put money away for retirement, your long-term savings, and then you have to pay at least the minimum payments on your loans, and then you pay the rest of the bills: food, electricity, cable, cell phone. You pay the rest of the bills. If you're tracking it, then you know how much is left over when you're done. And it's very easy to take what's left over and put it in the bank. So our program doesn't tell you how much to take out of your budget to put on debt every month. We're only looking at how much you have left over because your expenses are constantly changing. You spend more for food this month than you did last month. You spent less for gas this month than you did last month. So your expenses are changing. So therefore, the amount of discretionary income, the money that's left over, is constantly changing. So you don't need a spreadsheet. What you need is a dynamic program that works with you, whatever your finances are in that month, and then gives you instructions based on this new data monthly. And out of that money you're able to put away, okay? Let's say you put away some money and then you had a your hot water heater went bad and had to replace it. You see, when you're putting away that money, our program, which is AI powered, says based on your income and your spending habits, about 3 months from now, you'll be able to take X amount of dollars out of your savings because of who you are, because of what your family does, because of how you spend your money. You take that money out and apply it to the penny. It's going to tell you exactly how much to take out of your savings account 3 months from now and apply it to the debt. But what if you have to dip into that savings account to fix the hot water heater? Well, that means it's only going to, the program will say, oh, we need to recalculate then. We took some money out. We're farther away from the exact point we need to have the exact amount of money in the right month, on the right day of the month, attacking the right loan. So the program has to wait a little bit longer and says, now when you have that money available, then the program will prompt you and says, take the money out of your savings account and now put it on the mortgage or the car loan or the student loan. You see, when you have a program that says, take $500 a month or $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month and place it on that mortgage or on that debt, what happens when life gets in the way and you're not able to put that money on that debt that month? Two things happen. Number one, you get discouraged. And number two, when you're using a spreadsheet, you're permanently behind. Permanently behind. Because there's nothing in the spreadsheet that says, how do we make up for lost time? You see, when you're in your car and you place in your car that your GPS, I use Waze. I love using the Waze system. And I put in my GPS my destination when I'm going to, my brother-in-law's in Atlanta. I live here in Huntsville, Alabama. And we're headed there, and it tells me I'm going to be there in 3 hours and 27 minutes if I follow the program. But guess what? Traffic slows down. There's an accident. Or I got to take a detour. Now I'm off the main route. What does the GPS have to do? It has to recalculate. But it's going to do its best, because this is how it's designed, how to get the best route available in the least amount of time so it can make up some of the lost time. You see what we're talking about? When you have a program that says you have a goal in mind to get there the fastest and the cheapest way possible, but a life got in the way, and so now we have to recalculate. But that doesn't stop the program from trying to recalculate a different and a different route to get you to where you need to go, and it's still working to get you there the fastest and the cheapest way. That's what this program does. A spreadsheet doesn't do that. So when you're trying to get all this done, ladies and gentlemen, that's what's happening. Okay, that's what's going on. So let's get here, and the program tells you exactly how much to move to the penny. Exactly how much to the penny. Don't put a single penny more than that, because now you're violating the law of diminished return. I'll talk more about that later. Okay, so watch this. Watch this. This is one that we did. Oh, this was in of this year, January. Now this is a smaller loan. Got 75,000 here. 2 loans of 21,000, credit cards. Okay, total of 98,000. All right, but even at that, the 98,000, the bank wanted $40,000 in interest, and would take 27.9 years to pay off this debt if we follow the bank system. 27.9 years. But instead of 40,000, this particular person is going to pay $16,892. Not 40,000, but 16,000. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, 16,000. I need you to see this. Listen, do I need to zoom in on this? Let's zoom in on this. For my client, if they had these loans from the bank to only pay $16,892, they would have to have an interest rate of 1.08%. And we're going to accomplish this without changing my client's lifestyle. And we're going to do this without having to refinance anything. We're using the current budget. They don't have to go out and get an extra job or anything. No extra jobs. This is using her current amount of money. We're just going to make the amount of money that she has more efficient, so she can buy more with less using math. Okay? 1.8%. Now, let me show you what's happening here. At 1.8%, if we have $98,000, okay? $98,000. Our payment is 103, okay? Let me see if I can get this to work. I'm going to put this in the amortization. You can't see this yet, okay? I'm putting in an amortization schedule you can't see. So I'm going to bring it over. I'm going to set it up, okay? So our monthly payment, let me see here. I'm going to show you what it would take. Let's see here. We have 8.3 years. 8.3 years. That's 99 payments. Okay, 99 payments. So we have $98,282.57. Okay, and we have an effective interest rate of 1.08%. 1.08% for 99 payments. So the program does all the math. Instead of all the payments that the bank wants you to pay, she'll be debt free after only 99 payments. Okay. So we're going to put 99 payments in. Okay. Now I'm saying that she's only going to pay about $16,892 in interest. Let's bring this over so you can see it. Okay. $98,282.57. 99 payments, 1.08. All right. Let's get this out of here. And now let's take a look and see how much interest that comes to for 99 payments. Okay. So we'll take a look at that. Okay. Total interest is, I did it wrong. I'm going to have to go back, and you see, I'm trying to do this for you so I don't give away our proprietary formulas. All right. But I need to show you that it is possible to come up with only $16,000 in interest payments instead of $40,000 in interest payments, saving $23,000 and save 58%. That's a 58% savings. Okay? 58% savings. All right? Oh, and Bobby says no HELOC either. You don't need a HELOC. Now, if you had a HELOC, I can show you how to use it in this system, but you don't need one. It is not necessary. Let's take a look at another one. Okay? This one has a little bit more debt. $390,000 for the mortgage, $7,761, $18,391. All right, a total of $416,000. $416,000. So the bank wants them to pay $163,000 in interest. With us, they're only going to pay $41,638. Why do we go all the trouble of getting a savings and earnings report? Why do we go to the trouble of having every client get a savings and earnings report? Because they need to see what they can do. And this savings and earnings report that we give them, I'm going to tell you up front, Bobby, you haven't had a chance to talk to us in depth about your savings report yet. But this is worst case scenario. Once we actually put it into our program, we save an additional 10 to 17 and sometimes 25% more than what's showing here. Because now we have all of your data. We know when you're getting paid. We know how you pay your bills. We know what day the bills are due. We get a spending pattern. And then because of that, our program can give you better instructions and save you even more money and even more time than we're showing you in the savings report. But we got to get you something. And why do we have to give them something? Here's why. When somebody comes to the P.I.L.L method and gets their savings report, all of these numbers, we guarantee them. If we tell you, if you follow our program, the numbers that you gave us, if the numbers you gave us are correct, instead of paying $163,000 in interest, they're going to pay $41,000 in interest. And I need you to see this. I'm going to zoom in on it again. Okay, let's zoom in. All right, boom, boom, boom. They would have to have an interest rate of 0.64%. That's less than 1%. If you can borrow money at less than 1%, what are you doing ever paying cash for anything? Your cash should be making babies. Let me tell you about borrowing money and leveraging money and then taking your cash to buy stuff. You see, when you take your cash to buy stuff, you can't also invest it. If I can invest my money and make 6 or 7% annually on my money, but I can borrow money from the bank and pay them 0.64% on it, what am I doing paying cash for anything at all? I never pay cash for cars. I never pay cash for houses. I don't pay cash for any of that stuff. I use borrowed money, so my money can be used for investing. That's it. I invest that money. My money makes babies. So your money could be making babies. This is how a bank thinks. Do you realize the biggest borrowers in town are the banks downtown? Your banks borrow your money. They invest your money by lending it out. They make huge profits with your money, and then they pay you pennies on the dollar for the use of your money. That's what's happening. So why are we not taking a page out of the bank's book and be successful like a bank? Take their money, get a big old benefit for using that money. Listen, I got a whole house here, a whole house in 7.6 years instead of 27 years, a whole house, and paid off my debts. And with the interest that I've paid you, it's just like having an interest rate of 0.64%. And not only that, but we guarantee these outcomes. We either do this or do better than this, or we have to pay you back. We guarantee the numbers. And in 18 years of doing this, well, going on our 19th year here at the P.I.L. Method, go to Better Business Bureau, look up P.I.L. Method. Go to Better Business Bureau and look up P.I.L. Method, and you'll see that we have an A+ rating with Better Business Bureau, and you'll see how many complaints we have in 18 years. Right there, zero complaints. Because we either do what we say or you don't pay. Listen, can I put that on a t-shirt, Ruby, or something? We either do what we say or you don't pay. Look at that. Okay? So we are here to help anyone who is tired of giving their money to the bank. All right? So here that is another example. 6.64%, and we guarantee it. Let's go to I got two more examples to show you here. Here's another one. Here's a large one. Oh, you know what? I forgot to show you something. Let me go back. The money that this client didn't spend on interest, since we're going to be out of debt in 7.6 years instead of 27 years, if we take that money and put it away for about 20 years, the money that she didn't give to the bank, look at this. $1,343,000. See, this is why we call it a savings and earnings report. Why give that money to the bank? And in 19 and a half years, this could be theirs. 1.34 million. Listen, this is a person who has a regular job. W-2. If they take the money and stop giving that money to the bank and invest it for themselves, in 19 and a half years, that would be $1.343 million. I'm sure somebody's asking, even if they're not writing it in the chat. I'm sure somebody's asking this, Don, what interest rate is this? What is the return on investment? Is it 10%? Listen, that's got to be like 20, 25, 30% that they're getting on their investment. No. This is at 1%. This is at 1% return on the money. Compound interest is a wonderful thing working for you. Okay. $1.3 million, $1,343,230 in 19 and a half years, taking that money that they would have given to the bank invested in their own family's bank, all right, at 1% interest, and it turns into 1.3 million. What if she was getting the national average, like 6 or 7%? And this is on top of what she's doing already for a retirement. This is in addition to. You're talking, listen, folks, if you're talking about creating generational wealth and you're still giving way more money to the bank than you need to, we need to stop right here. We need to stop right here. Okay. I need you to listen to somebody while I get a drink of water. I need you to listen to, oh gosh, well, I don't know why I do that. I need you to listen to Dr. Eric Thomas. All right. E.T., the hip hop preacher. E.T. Eric Thomas is the #1 motivational speaker in the entire world. Listen to what he has to say about the P.I.L.L method, and then we'll show you how you can do what he did. Listen to this.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
There you go, folks. Dr. Eric Thomas paid off his mortgage early, made his wife feel so much better using the P.I.L.L method. So we've got that. We're going to have that crawling across the screen here at the bottom, but I need you to go here to ice10k.com, ice10k.com. All right. And you'll see a picture of Dr. Eric Thomas here. And I got some little videos here. They're only a few seconds long. So you can see him there and some other videos that we have on this digital business card. But if you scroll down underneath his picture, you'll see a button here that says get your savings and earnings report. Okay. When you get your savings and earnings report, here's what it says. When you click on that button, don't waste another dollar paying off the wrong debt. Get your free savings report. What? Get your free savings report. I say, Bobby, you got your savings report. How much did we charge you for that? How much we charge you for a savings report? So you can know the month, day, and year you can be debt free. The month, day, and year you can be debt free. And how much potential earnings you could have with the money you're no longer giving the bank. And we tell you how much interest you're going to save, when you're going to be debt free, and how much money that could potentially make for you. All in one report. And it's a 2-step report. Fill out the first step, this part here. Okay. Then click on yes, I want to save. And then we're going to verify who you are through your email. See if their email is correct. Make sure that your email is correct because we need to email you information. So make sure your email is correct. And then once you send that in, once you verify that email, then we'll let you into step 2. That's when you put in all your financial data. How many mortgages you have, how many credit cards you have, student loans, all of that. You put it all in. And the more, the better. Don't leave anything out. Did you know that the average family has 13 different debts? 13 different debts. So don't leave anything out. We love it when we see a lot of consumer debt because the more you have, actually, the faster you can get out of debt. I'm telling you, it's crazy how this math works once you learn how. Okay. So fill that out. And then someone from my staff will give you a call, verify the information. And once it's verified, we can send this out to you. And if you want to, let's say if you want to set up an appointment With me to go over everything, it's only $150 for an hour. We'll go over everything, and you just may want to get our lifetime program so that we can direct you as to how to do this through our coaching system, our AI system, and our live customer service that you would have for a lifetime. Oh my goodness. You can have that. Bobby said, listen, Bobby got his report, and this is, he's telling you how much he paid for his report. How much did you pay, Bobby? It says right there, $0. Okay. We're telling you the truth, folks. We're telling you the truth. And not only that, if you get your, go ahead and pay the fee to get a savings report. I'm sorry, to get a consultation, the consultation fee. And since we guarantee everything at the P.I.L.L method, if you feel you didn't get $150 worth of benefit out of that meeting, you tell us before we get off Zoom, because we do most of our meetings by Zoom. Before we get off the Zoom, you say, yeah, thanks, but I don't think that was worth $150. We send it right back before the meeting ends. Yeah, we send it right back to you. Everything we do at the P.I.L.L method is guaranteed. Everything we do is guaranteed. So we got that. I need you to go. We're going to go back. I've got a few minutes left with you. I got a few minutes left. We're going to be done towards the bottom of the hour. All right. And I need to show you a couple of other examples here. Some examples with larger payments. Anybody got any questions, or would you like to come to the stage? All the information is in the comment section. Come on in, ask your questions live, or type it in. All right. But I want to go back here. Bobby made a very good observation. When this lady was paid off her mortgage and is able to invest in her family and has the potential of making $1.3 million with the money no longer going to the bank, guess what? Bobby says, plus you pay off your mortgage, and you have the equity in the home. Boom. Come on, Bobby. You got all of that right. You got all of that right. That's what we're talking about. Okay. All right. So here's another one. I like this one. All right. 630,000. Okay. This is from last year. 630,000 for the mortgage, 38,000 on another loan, and 20,000 in credit cards, for a total of $688,000. All right. Here is what the bank wants. Okay. Pay back all the money that you owe, and the interest comes to $1,008,741. You know how much interest that is when you separate it out? $320,000 in interest. $320,000 in interest. $320,741. Now, I told you that we're going to show you that you can actually get a 2% interest rate on a mortgage. But if I told you what it actually would be, you probably wouldn't have showed up. because instead of the $320,000, they're going to get 80,000. They're going to pay 80,661. That's a 75% interest savings, saving $240,000. And for them to be able to pay $80,000 on these loans, they would have to have an interest rate of 0.75% across the board. You can't get an interest rate that cheap. Why are we breaking our necks trying to get the interest rate as low as possible when the interest rate is a liar in the first place? Why don't we get the loans, set up the thing the best way we know how, and then make our own interest rate? What do you say about that? Can I get an amen on making your own interest rate? Interest rate of 0.75%. Look at this. And don't pay off the loan in 27.9 years with 335 payments to go. No. Here, pay it off in 7 with only 84 payments to go. And do it with your current budget. You don't have to go out and make more money. And you don't have to sacrifice lifestyle. You plug your lifestyle into the program, and then we use what's ever left. Okay, Ozzy. Ozzy gave me an amen. Oh, and Ozzy's a realtor. Whoo, I love talking to realtors. You know why I love talking to realtors? Because once a realtor understands this, then they can separate themselves from the pack. Work with me. I'll show you how to pay off your mortgage in about 7 years instead of 30 years to never. Oh, and you don't have to be afraid of interest rates. You can buy your house now because you can control the amount of interest you pay. What do you think about that, Ozzy? Whew, Ozzy the realtor is in the house. Come on, listen, can I get a few more likes on this? Can I get just a few more likes on it? If you're enjoying this information, get a few more likes. All right, listen, it's free. Okay, you know, it's what do they call that? Some social benefit for giving you this information for free. Okay, so now that's 20.9 years of interest savings. Can I break this down just a little bit more? I need you to see this. Okay, the amount of interest that the bank wants, I need you to read this. That's 15 months worth of your entire income of $21,000 a month just to cover interest. 15 months of your entire income just to cover interest. When we get through with it, we're bringing it down. Oh, the 75,000, that's interest, 75% interest savings, or 11 months worth of your entire income saved. So your entire income for the month, for 11 months saved in interest you don't have to pay, paying off in 7 years, that's 84 payments without changing your budget and taking the money you're no longer giving to the bank over the next 20 years. That's if you wanted to. You could invest that money or you could spend that money. But if you invested the money, because listen, if you do what you've been doing and give it to the bank, I guarantee you they'll invest it. And they're going to make a lot more money than this. This is $2,617,681 plus a paid off house and the equity that continues to rise. You talk about generational wealth. Stop giving it away to the bank and learn how to borrow money at 2% or less. That's what we're talking about today. All right. And for this last example, now the last few examples were for residential home buyers. This is a seasoned real estate investor for our last thing, and we're going to try to answer some questions about this one. This is $2 million worth of commercial property. Okay, two properties, office space, and on this office space, okay, the buildings cost the loans on these buildings $2,236,000. Okay, the payments on the mortgage is $14,696. I need you to watch this. I need you to take a look at this because this is important. So, Don, what is this real estate investor doing? They're bringing in over $57,000 in rents on average because we had to average in vacancies, because people move in and out of commercial real estate. Okay. So when we take a look at the average monthly income, it comes out to 57,882 in income or rents being paid on the two buildings. Okay. The monthly payment is 14,696. And this is what the real estate investor told me. Don, out of this money, you can't use any of this money. I take out about 63.4% of this money and I invest it. 36,686.67. I pay the mortgage and I take this money and I find ways to invest it. Remember when I told you, you need to have your money making babies? Well, this real estate investor takes his money and makes babies with it. Okay. Invested in all sorts of ways, other real estate, and other ways. Okay. He takes $6,500 out of his income and puts it away into a reserve fund. In that reserve fund, there's over $100,000 in that reserve fund. Over $100,000 in the reserve fund. This guy is awesome. In fact, when he called, I didn't believe it at first. I thought somebody was pranking me because everybody knows this guy's business. Okay, everybody knows his business in town. And when he was calling me, I thought somebody was pranking me, and then he assured me that no, somebody gave him my book. Oh, come on, Strategic Secrets. I love it when you come in here. All right. So here's what we're doing. All right. So he tells me this. He says, and I said, why are you coming to me? Because you've been in business a lot longer than me. You know what he told me? He says, one of the reasons why I'm so successful is because I keep my mind open to new and better ideas. And when I read your book, listen, is that a shameless plug to put the book on the screen? When I read your book, The P.I.L.L Method, a better way to eliminate debt. All right. When I read the book, I realized there was something I was missing. And what I was missing was I was paying more interest than I needed to. All right. You can go to that same ice10k.com and find that button at the bottom to click on to get the book, ladies and gentlemen. So get the book today. Okay. Do what this gentleman did. So what we showed him is instead of paying $1,123,195 in interest, he's going to pay only $231,000 in interest if he wanted to. Okay. And save $891,000 in interest. That's a 70. Oh, wait, let me make this bigger so we can zoom in on this thing. Let's zoom in on it. Okay. That's a 79% interest savings. 79% interest savings. $891,000 is not given to the bank. You see, I need you to really understand what's going on here. Okay? Because on Sunday, when we come back, we're going to be talking about the millions of dollars real estate investors are leaving on the table and how they don't have to. All right? There it is. Real estate gold. You want to be here on Sunday. You want to be here on Sunday and to see a real estate gold, because we're going to show you how to get a over 200% return on your money, real estate investors. 200% return or more. All right. So 79% interest savings. There it is. All right. And if he wanted to, he could pay these buildings off in 4.9 years. I need you to go back in case you missed it. $57,000 in income on the building, $14,696 going to pay on the mortgages, but over $36,000 every month. None of that money is used to prepay this loan. None of it. It is used to invest to make more money. So anybody who talks, if you're a real estate investor, and anybody who tells you that, oh, you don't need, why would you take any of that money and to pay down the loan? You should be investing that money. I totally agree with them. Make sure you're investing that money. But there's other monies you can use. Small amounts of that money can kill a lot of interest. And I'm going to show you how that's done in just a minute. Okay. So we're looking at that. That's putting away every single month $231,000 in interest paid instead of $1 million in interest paid. He would have to have an interest rate of 0.67%. When he saw that, he says, Don, for years, I've been looking at how much money I was making every month, but was not paying any attention to the interest cost, what it cost me to make that money, because I was counting the interest that I was paying as the cost of doing business. Now I know I could have cut that by 75%. That's why I'm dealing with you. Okay? Look at this. If you wanted to, you could pay that off in 4.9 years and take that money is no longer giving to the bank over 17 years, invest that money that was going to the bank. He's already investing his other money. I'm talking about the money that was formerly lost to him, now recovered, and he could make an additional $9 million with it. He is no longer giving to the bank. Can I show you one last example in the last 7 minutes I have with you today? Okay, the last 7 minutes I have with you today, I'm going to give you one last example here. Okay, all right. All right, so I've got, we're going to put the amortization schedule back on the screen. All right, bring it back. There we go. There it is. All right, click it on the link. All right, so one of his loans, okay, he's paying $8,000 a month. Okay, 8704 a month. Okay, and it is a 300-month loan. Okay, that's 25 years. We're going to take this out, and his interest rate is 5%. Change that. I'm going to show you something very interesting with just one of the loans. Same thing I showed him. That one loan is $1,488,000. $1,488,906.65. Okay? That one loan. I need you to look at this. Okay, get this advertisement off the screen. This is from Brett Whistle. Okay. Oh, we're going to put that in the chat for you. Copy. And we're going to put that in so that you can have that. I'm going to paste it in there for you. There it is. All right. So you can play around with this. Okay. This is a teaching tool that we use. All right. So I'm going to cut to the chase with this. If you want to know exactly how we're putting this together, if you came in late, go to the beginning of the video and I break this down in more detail. In 1 year, when he's making his payment of $8,007.04, look at this. $2,500 goes to principal, $6,000 goes to interest. After 1 year, $30,000 goes to principal, $73,000 goes to interest. Here's what I want to show you. Here's what I asked. What if the program came up with this idea? Could you, since you have $100,000 in reserve over here, just waiting just to do repairs and maintenance on your buildings, okay? It's got plenty of buildings all over town, okay? Could you take about $30,000 out of that reserve fund, place it on this mortgage, knock off 1 year's worth of payments, and save yourself $70,000 worth of interest? And your next mortgage payment would be right here, okay? And then And then I'm going to go into this more detail on Sunday. And then he says, well, what, Don, I can't keep taking money out of the reserve fund because after a while I won't have a reserve fund. Well, I said, well, you're putting $6,000 into the reserve fund every month, aren't you? He says, yes. Then I said, well, how long would it take you to put $30,000 back? He says, well, it'd take me about 5 months. I said, well, then don't do anything else with the reserve fund for 5 months. Make your regular mortgage payment for 5 months. Okay, that would be this one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then your $30,000 is back in the reserve fund, right? He says, yes. I said, could you take another $30,000 out, put it on here, knock off another 12 months and save another $70,000 in interest? Think about it, folks. You need to watch the replay on that one and listen and rewind that thing and play it over and over and over again. We are in a unique position here with the P.I.L.L method. And anybody who watches these videos, anybody who works with us and wants to get on our lifetime program, not just to pay off the mortgages you have now, but any mortgage you have in the future, you can use our program over and over and over again, and you only pay for it once. It is a lifetime program that costs you $0. When you take a look at how much interest you're going to save, we get a very small percentage of the interest saved. So it is really your bank that pays us. Let me show you how I can get your bank to pay for your one-time fee for life. You never spend another dime, and you can do something like this and then take that money and kill interest and take the money that you're no longer giving an interest and then make money with that money. So the extra money we're paying in interest, as terrible as it isn't the real problem. The real problem is that extra money you paid. You have to calculate the money that money will never make for you and count it as a loss. That's what we're doing today, folks. Thank you so very much for being here. I need you to do a couple more things. Go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, all right? And go ahead and become an affiliate. Some of you like this information and you want to share it with others. Click on Become an Affiliate. Fill this out. It takes about 15 seconds. Fill it out. Tell us how you want to get paid. And you can make between $300 and $3,000 a month becoming an affiliate with the P.I.L.L method. Not only that, get your savings and earnings report, okay? And get your book, all right? Go ahead and buy your own book. Start studying now. Thank you so very much. We'll be back here Sunday at 8:30 Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern Time, all right? And we're going to go over real estate gold, how real estate investors can make over 200% return on their money. And it doesn't impact their ability to invest in other real estate. All right. I wanted to listen. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Let's listen to Dr. Eric Thomas one more time, and we will see you on Sunday. Oh, happy Sabbath, everyone. Happy Sabbath. See ya.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.